500 super rockets hidden in the dark, a broken shield in Israel, and an American giant trapped. The rules of the world just changed forever. Part 1. Welcome to the broken chessboard. Welcome back to my channel, Global Insight Analyst. Today, my friends, we are not looking at small news. We are looking at a giant earthquake. If you have been watching the television, you see the Middle East is burning. You see Israel and Iran in a heavy, painful fight. You see the United States sending ships and planes. People are very scared. People are asking, is this the end? Panic does not help us. Panic is for people who do not understand the rules of the game. In this room, we do not panic. We look at the map. We look at the math. Imagine you are playing a game of chess. You know how the pieces move. You know the rules. But suddenly, while you are not looking, your opponent reaches into a hidden box. They pull out 500 new queens and slam them on the board. What happens? The old rules die. Today, we are looking at a rumor, a scenario that breaks the chessboard completely. Iran receives 500 Hwasong-18 super rockets from North Korea. For this lesson, I am going to hold your hand and walk you through exactly what this means. I will explain the war. I will explain the moves of Israel, Iran, and the United States. And I will give you my precise predictions on what happens next. Let us begin. Part 2, Understanding the War, the House on Fire. Before we talk about the rockets, we must understand why the Middle East is fighting right now. I will explain it so simply that even a 10-year-old can understand. Think of the Middle East as a very crowded neighborhood. Israel is a small house in this neighborhood. For many years, Israel just wanted to build a strong fence so nobody could hurt them. Iran is a very big house down the street. Iran does not like the small house. But Iran did not want to fight directly. So, for a long time, Iran gave small matches to other people in the neighborhood. We call these proxies. These people threw the matches at Israel's fence. But recently, the game changed. The small matches turned into direct punches. The war we are seeing today is what happens when the fence breaks, and the two houses start throwing heavy rocks at each other. The United States is the giant policeman. The policeman stands behind Israel and says, "I will protect you." But what happens when the big house down the street suddenly gets a weapon that can hit the policeman's own home? That is where North Korea comes in. Part 3, the magic of the solid firecracker. A picture of a massive dark green rocket on a multi-wheeled truck appears on the screen. What is a Hwasong-18? In big dictionary words, it is an ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile. But let us use simple English. It is a rocket that can fly 15,000 kilometers across the ocean all the way to Washington, D.C. From Iran, 15,000 kilometers means it can reach almost anywhere on Earth. It can touch London, it can touch America, but distance is not why this weapon is scary. The scary part is what is inside the belly of the rocket. Old rockets use liquid fuel. Think of liquid fuel like pouring gasoline into your family car. It takes a long time. You have to park the big rocket outside, connect a heavy hose, and pump the liquid inside for hours. While you do this, eyes in the sky, American satellites, are watching you. They can send an airplane to blow up your rocket before you finish pumping the gas. The Hwasong-18 uses solid fuel. Solid fuel is like a firecracker. The explosive powder is already baked inside it at the factory. It is hard. It is ready. You do not need to pump gas into a firecracker. You just light the match and boom, it flies. Because it uses solid fuel, you can hide these Hwasong-18 rockets deep inside dark stone mountains. You put them on big trucks. You drive the truck out of a cave, point it at the sky, press a button, and fire it in just 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Before the giant policeman can even put his boots on, the rocket is in the sky. Now, having one of these is very dangerous. But our story says Iran gets 500 giant firecrackers hidden in deep caves, ready to fly in 5 minutes. Part 4, the secret handshake in the dark. Now, we must ask the smartest question in the room. Why? Why would North Korea, a very poor country, give 500 of their best, most expensive toys to Iran? My friends, countries are not friends. Countries only make a deal if both sides win. It is a business trade. North Korea is locked out of the world. They have no money, they have very little food, and they need oil to turn the lights on. Guess who has an ocean of oil under their sand? Iran. If Iran gets 500 super rockets, North Korea gets a lifetime supply of oil. It is a perfect trade for survival, but there is a second genius reason: the trick of distraction. Look at the United States giant. Right now, this giant has two eyes. One eye is looking at the Middle East, but the other eye is always watching Asia, watching China, watching North Korea. North Korea hates being watched by the giant, so North Korea hands 500 super rockets to Iran. Suddenly, a massive fire alarm goes off in the Middle East. What does the giant do? The giant turns both of his eyes to the Middle East. He has to. The fire is too big. North Korea smiles. Why? Because the giant is no longer watching them. By giving rockets to Iran, North Korea makes itself safe to build more weapons in the dark. This is master-level chess. Part 5. Israel's broken umbrella. Now we talk about Israel's move. The news says Israel is doomed. Why? We use simple math. Israel has a famous shield in the sky. It is called the Iron Dome. They also have bigger shields called David's sling and arrow. Think of these shields like a very strong magical umbrella. When Iran or its proxies throw small rockets, it is like throwing small stones. The umbrella opens up, catches the little stones, and keeps the people safe. But a Hwasong-18 is not a little stone. It flies all the way up into dark, cold space. Then it turns around and falls down from the sky faster than a shooting star. It is a falling mountain. Here's the math problem. If Iran fires one falling mountain, the big umbrella can catch it. If Iran fires 5 falling mountains, the umbrella catches them. But remember our magic number, 500. What happens if Iran hides in the mountains and pushes the button on 100 rockets at the exact same time? No umbrella ever built by human hands can stop 100 falling mountains at once. It is impossible. The computers will freeze. The machines will run out of bullets. The umbrella will rip into tiny pieces. Even if the shield is a miracle and stops 90 rockets, 10 rockets will hit the ground. And these rockets are so heavy, just one is enough to turn a whole city block to dust. Israel knows this math. Iran knows this math. The moment those 500 rockets arrive, the shield is just paper in a hurricane. Israel can no longer just defend. They will feel immense pressure to strike first before the rockets are ever used. Part 6. Trapping the bear. The US move. So, if Israel is in trouble, what does the United States do? Usually, the American rulebook is very simple. When there is a problem, the US sends an aircraft carrier, a giant floating city full of fighter jets. They park the boat in the ocean and say, "If you touch our friend, we will hit you." For 70 years, this worked perfectly. Why? Because the US could hit anyone, but nobody could hit the US back. The giant was safe in his house across the ocean. But the Hwasong-18 breaks this rulebook. Remember the 15,000 kilometers. If the US brings its boats and tries to bomb Iran's mountains, Iran can now say, "Stop. If you drop one bomb on us, we will point our 500 super rockets at your home. We will point them at Washington, D.C. We will point them at New York." This brings us to a very important word you must learn today: deterrence. Let me explain deterrence. Think of a porcupine. A bear is much bigger than a porcupine. The bear is much stronger. The bear could easily eat it, but the bear walks away. Why? Because the porcupine is covered in sharp spikes. The bear knows that if he bites the porcupine, he will get sharp spikes in his eyes and mouth. The bear will win the fight, but the bear will bleed terribly. It is not worth the pain. With 500 Hwasong-18s, Iran becomes a giant porcupine. The US is the bear. The US military is stronger, yes, but no American president will ever risk losing a big American city just to fight a war in the Middle East. The giant is trapped. He can shout, he can roar, he can fly planes in circles, but he cannot bite. Part 7. Professor Jiang's final predictions. My friends, we have looked at the board. We see the 500 new pieces. We see the giant is trapped. We see the umbrella is broken. Based on the trends of this war, what happens tomorrow? I will give you 3 precise predictions. Prediction number 1, the Great Squeeze, not World War III. Many people think these rockets mean the world will end in fire tomorrow. I say no. I think it means large, direct wars will actually pause. Why? Because everyone is too afraid. When 2 men have small sticks, they fight in the street. When 2 men have giant cannons pointed at each other's heads, they sit in their chairs and they sweat. They do not fight directly. Instead, the US will squeeze Iran with money. They will block ships. They will use computer viruses. It will be a silent, invisible war. Prediction number 2. The neighborhood buys new locks. Look at the other countries in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt. They will watch this and say, look, America cannot protect us anymore. America is afraid of the porcupine. What will they do? They will not wait for America. They will start building their own nuclear programs. They will say, if Iran has a big stick, we need a big stick too. We will see a massive, dangerous race for weapons in the Middle East. Prediction number 3, new bosses in town. Because the American giant is trapped, nature will fill the empty space. You will see China and Russia step in. They will fly to the Middle East and say, America is stuck. Let us help you keep the peace. Let us do business. The heavy weight of power that used to sit in Washington will slowly slide to Beijing and Moscow. My friends, the world is shifting under our feet. The map behind me is changing colors. Do not let the news make you panic. Just watch the board, understand the moves, understand the math. Thank you for joining Global Insight Analyst today. If you want to stay smart and see the next move before it happens, make sure you subscribe. Stay safe, think deeply, and I will see you in the next Masterclass.